Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a makeup tutorial a good old-fashioned makeup tutorial on the viral Latte makeup. And I pulled so much inspo from the internet and I am just loving this look. I love how there's like a collective look going on right now that everybody's loving. I think it's perfect for summer, but it's also a universally flattering look because we're just using brown tones. So we're just gonna get right into it. Starting off with priming, I'm gonna use the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin. I am still just as obsessed with, it's running out, but I'm still just as obsessed with this because it feels more like a serum and I just like how it makes my skin look so bouncy, and then all my base products just go on top of it really lovely. I feel like it really just gives me that like instant glow. I love the way my skin looks with even like just this on it. Just on the high points of my face, I'm gonna use the Refi Gloss Highlighter. This one's in the shade Topaz. Take a little bit right on the back of my hand and I'm just gonna lightly pop this on basically like the center of my face and the high points as well, and then I'm just gonna blend it in with my fingertips. This is gonna give you a really nice kind of like glossy glaze underneath the makeup. You can use it on top as well, but I find that I just like really prefer it underneath my makeup right now, probably because it's summer, so it's like a little glossy for hot weather. And really just concentrating this anywhere you want that lit from within pop to come out on the skin. It really just like melts in. It's so nice. Next, I'm just gonna prep the eyelids. So today I'm gonna use the one from Too Faced. This is new, so it's hard to open. This is the Shadow Insurance. I don't know why that was so impossible to open. Okay, this is, that doe foot is dry. This is literally empty, so I don't know what's up with that. So today we're actually gonna use the Urban Decay Primer Potion. We're gonna do this all the way from the lid up to that brow bone. So the entire eye space, we're gonna prime that. This look isn't an entire emphasis on the skin, but you do want to have like a nice glowy base, and I want to keep it looking as natural as possible. So I'm going to go in with one of my favorite foundations for this type of look. I'm using the Chantecaille Future Skin. I'm in between shades right now, so today I am mixing the shades Wheat and Cream. Whatever is on my lid, I take it, put it on the back of my hand. A little bit of each. My lighter shade is actually almost gone, so I'm going to be repurchasing this soon. And I'm also gonna mix in just a tiny bit of the Rhode Peptide Glazing Fluid, just about that much of the Rhode. It honestly just helps kind of like sheer the product out, make it look a little bit more like a tinted moisturizer, but still get that really great coverage from the foundation. And I'm using a IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection brush. And I'm just gonna start by lightly stippling this on and then buffing it in. The nice thing about this foundation too is it has more of like a skin type finish, so it's not particularly dewy. It's definitely not matte, and I wouldn't consider it satin either. It really kind of depends on the type of skincare you have underneath it, because I've used silicone primers with this foundation before and it's definitely leaned more onto the satin finish. But if you have like some really hydrating skin prep on, it just tends to like melt into your skin and look like you don't even really have that much product on at all. And with this foundation, I definitely recommend a brush. I find sometimes a sponge can just soak up a little bit too much of the product. This is one of those foundations where when you wear it, I feel like you look like you had your makeup professionally done. And it's also just like really beginner friendly because it's hard to mess up this foundation. It just always looks really good. I'm also gonna lightly put a little bit of whatever is left over on the brush right on top of my eyelids. You don't ever want to leave the eyelids blank, even though we're gonna be putting shadow on top. Sometimes if you don't put the foundation on there, it just kind of looks a little bit like you can see the line of the foundation around the eye area. So I like to be careful and make sure I get the foundation pretty much everywhere. And I know that looked like a lot of foundation, but you can see it blends out so nice. I used everything that I put on the back of my hand. I'm gonna take the Merit Complexion Stick. Mine is in the shade Camel, and I like using this for adding coverage on any areas where I want a little bit something more. So like I have a little bit of spot right there, and I have hyperpigmentation on my chin right there. That's a mosquito bite. But it looks like a pimple, but it's not healing the best because it's insanely itchy, so I've been scratching it. But the Merit stick will just cover all of that up, and I'm also gonna add just a little bit more coverage under the eyes. I'm gonna use a Lawless concealer brush to blend this out. You'll see as I'm blending this out, it's not gonna be particularly brightening. It's just gonna give me that extra added coverage on those areas. And because it's a cream stick, it just melts a little bit more seamlessly than if you were to go in and just keep layering your foundation. So I love that, and I love this Flawless concealer brush. It's kind of shaped like a little kitten paw, so it just fits in all the crevices of the face. So lovely. Okay, so base is looking really nice, and I'm happy with this. And this is a really good point to lock these base products in. So I'm going to take a little bit of setting spray. I'm just using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless. I feel like this is a good place to start on the eyes. So I'm going to take a shadow stick. This one's from It Cosmetics. It's in the shade Tenacious Tawny. And what I'm going to do is pick it up on a flat brush. So I'm going to use a MAC 239S, just like a flat paddle brush. And what I'm going to do is run my shadow stick right along the tops of those bristles, and then just lightly buff this close to the lash line and just slowly feather it up into the crease. Not all the way into the crease, but just as I'm blending, I'm trying to diffuse it all over the eyelid. And I will just do the same thing on the other eye. I'm also gonna run just a touch on the lower lash line, all the way from the outer corner right into the inner corner of the eye. When I was trying to pick the perfect like eyeshadow palette to do this look, I was debating between two. So the first is from Urban Decay. This is the Naked Half Baked Mini. And I feel like this has some really good latte tones in it, but I think the most perfect one is gonna be the NARS Laguna Quad. This to me just seems a little bit more milky and more like latte themed, so we're gonna go with this one. So I'm gonna take a Mario EF2 brush, and the first base color I'm gonna use is this right here, that corner shade. I'm gonna lightly feather this onto the lid, just kind of like in a swirling motion. And then once the color's been concentrated down there, I'm gonna lightly buff upwards just so that the intensity starts tapering off the closer that we get to the brow bone. But I basically want that color like all over. Same thing on the other eye. And if you really concentrate the color on the lid like this, by the time you get to the crease, it's really gonna give you that perfect ombre effect to just buff it around whatever's left over up here. Okay, so this is the Heavenly Luxe No Tug Dual Eyeshadow Brush from It Cosmetics. And now I'm going to dip into this color. And I'm going to start again right at the base of my top lash line and do the same thing, kind of buff it upward, but I'm stopping the color right about here. So it's gonna be all in this area and upward, but I'm not pulling it towards the front part of my eye. I'm just buffing that right into the crease as well. Big fluffy brushes are gonna be your best friend for this look, so you can really get that nice hazy finish. I'm gonna take a clean blending brush. This is a MAC 224S, and just blend out that line so it doesn't look harsh. So on the back of the dual-ended brush from It Cosmetics, there's a little smudger brush. So I'm gonna take the smudgy section, the smudgy brush, and I'm gonna pop that on the lower lash line as well, all the way from that outer corner. Really try to nestle it right in there, and then take it right to the inner corner of your lower lash line. Going in with my blending brush again. This one's really nice because you can see it comes to that pretty fine taper, and just blend that out a bit. Okay, next I'm gonna take a Makeup by Mario E3 brush, and I'm gonna pick up this shade, and we're gonna tap this onto the inner portion of the eyelid, and then again feather it up into the crease. So then you can use the other side of the brush, the clean side, to just feather that right into the crease. There is a really beautiful like soft glitter shade in the palette. Okay, then holding my brush this way, I'm gonna just get the product right on the tips of those bristles and just make this a little bit brighter right here. And just lightly pop that right on the center. I'm gonna take Chantecaille's Brow Lift pen, and I'm gonna use this to gently highlight right there, and then I'm just gonna buff it out with a little flat shadow brush. This one's from Zoeva, just on both brows. We're gonna take a step back from the eyes for a bit and then we'll finish off with like eyeliner and mascara. I like to do those last because I don't want to get any like powders stuck to those products. So this is from Dibs. It's a bronzer blush duo. You have bronzer on one side, blush on the other. I absolutely love this. This one's in the shade 5.5. I'm gonna use the bronzing stick to start off. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of cream bronzing. This is really nice because you can actually apply it directly to your skin, and I feel like I haven't had any issues with this causing makeup lifting. I'm gonna use the Mario dual-ended brush, the number rubbed off, but I think there's only one of these, and it's like two angular brushes, so they're really great for blending out cream products. They just make it easier. Like the Dibs is really good because it blends in so nicely. Now that we have this really nice light layer of cream bronze on the skin, we're going to do my bronzing technique, where you take two different skin powders that have a luminous finish and then buff them into the skin on top of the cream bronzer. It creates like the most flawless, gorgeous finish. So one of my favorites is Sable from NARS. This is the light reflecting powder, really nice and deep, with the Giorgio Armani luminous silk skin powder. So I really like using the Laura Mercier finishing powder brush. I've been obsessed with this brush for years. I think I own 3 at this point because I could do my entire face with this brush. I just absolutely love it. So I'm gonna start off with the Giorgio Armani one, dip a little bit into Sable, and then starting right back here, I'm gonna slowly buff this right into the skin. This is the brush that rattles. It's clean. The other ones are dirty, but it's something on the inside of this brush broke. But I just lightly graze the skin and really buff these powders in, kind of dipping back in and then slowly pulling it towards the center of my face. I don't know. I did this like last year or the year before it. I was like, what if I used my favorite face powders as bronzers and then just mix them together, and it makes such a pretty bronzing effect. I feel like once you do the bronzer, you can really see the look just like totally coming together. For blush, I think you really want to choose something nudie, like something kind of brownie toned, but also still keep it really nice and fleshy, because there's not a super big emphasis on the blush. So I want to do something like fleshy, bronzy with a little bit of pink. So the first product I'm going to go in with is Victoria Beckham. This is the Cheeky Posh Playground Blush Stick. And I'm going to apply it to the back of my hand. Gorgeous color. And I'm just going to pick it up again on this dual-ended Makeup by Mario brush. And basically just lightly tap that right onto the cheeks. And then we're going to bring it, whatever's left over on the bristles, we're going to bring right onto the bridge of the nose and slowly kind of like pull it towards the center. Originally I was gonna mix in another blush, but I think this actually looks really good here, so we're just gonna leave it at this. And I'm gonna take the Super Loaded Tinted Highlight. This is from Westman Atelier. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna take another Lawless Concealer brush. I'm telling you, when I find a brush that I like, I can find like 50 million uses for it, and I'll like use it all over the face. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just going to lightly pick up a tiny bit of this. You will see this is like the perfect shade for this look, and I'm just gonna barely highlight the skin. And you can totally skip the highlight if you don't want it to be this glowy, but I'm telling you, I love seeing these latte looks with just like that extra kiss of highlight right on this part of the face. I think it looks so stunning. But I'm just using the tiniest bit of product. This is like a cream highlight technically, but it sets down more powdery. If you've used the Westman Atelier stick highlights, those are much more balmy and they have more of like a dewy sheen on the skin. I like the Fully Loaded Tinted Highlight. I like this formula a little bit better. The one that comes in this, I like this formula better for like more full glam looks because it doesn't disrupt the base as much. Whereas if you're going in with like all these coverage products, a stick highlight can sometimes cause a little bit of lifting. But this one, you still get that nice like sheeny finish without the base lifting in certain areas and then you having to go run back in and do patchwork. Kosas Airbrow, my favorite. I'm gonna do just a little bit of tinted brow gel. We're not even gonna bother with a pencil because we're gonna intensify the eyes more with some liners, so I just don't want there to be like too much. I don't want the brows to be giving like too much. So I just want to shape them and give them a little bit of tint, and they can just do their own thing. I mean, when you have thick, dark brows like me, sometimes it's impossible to make them look a little bit more subtle, but we just don't want them to give more attitude than they need to. So we're just gonna do like a light coat of brow gel and brush it through. Now we're going to intensify the eyes, and the Latte looks that I am specifically loving are the ones that have like really intense rimmed eyes and then, you know, kind of like a hazy line on top. So I'm gonna take the Makeup by Mario Perfect Brown. I have been obsessed with this. It's like my favorite brown eyeliner ever, and I just sharpened it for this video because I'm gonna line my waterline with this. You don't need a ton of pressure when you're doing this. Just let the pencil glide along the waterline and you won't even feel it. So we pulled it all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner. Now we're gonna do the tight line. It helps if you have your mirror underneath you so you can kind of look up into the tight line. And then we're gonna go as close to the top lash line as we can and line right there. Smudge brush from It one more time and smudge that in. Just like that. It just helps finish it off. The Hourglass liquid liner, and the way you're gonna use this is a very thin line resting on that top lash line, and this just gives the illusion of a thicker, more full lash line. And honestly, before it dries, if you feel like you can still see it a little bit, just go in with that smudge brush and just lightly buff that line out. I think it just makes it a little bit more seamless, a little bit more undetectable. I love that. It just accentuates the natural shape of your eye so nicely. I'm gonna take this one time just to like refresh my freckles, moles, just so the base has a softness to it. So for Latte lips, I like kind of like a ice caramel macchiato color. You can do, you know, more espresso-y brown. You can really play around with this and use the brown tone that you like, but a really great lip liner for this look, I think, is Cool Brown from Anastasia. It's really great for overlining and giving you a little bit of a brown tone on the lip, but without being like aggressively brown or too dark. And I always take my finger, softly feather it out. You can see my natural lip line is like white, so really helps give my lips some shape. I'm gonna curl my lashes really quick. I'm using my Shiseido lash curler. Mascara, I'm gonna use Dior Show Waterproof. This is great for dramatic looks because it can really beef up those eyelashes, and I think it just sits so pretty on the lashes, especially when you're doing smoky eyes. There's a reason why. This is my all-time favorite mascara ever. I'm gonna do a little bit on the lower lash line while I just wait for that top lash line coat to dry, because I'm gonna build it up on the top lashes. But I like to wait until like in between each layer it's a little bit tacky and then start rolling the mascara on. I feel like it just builds a lot nicer that way. Okay, so there's the mascara. I love this eye look. I mean, it's so good. Okay, like I said, I want to do kind of like an ice caramel macchiato type of nude, but I still want to keep it nice and brown to go with all these brown tones. So I don't think there's a lipstick more perfect for this type of look than Merit's Slip. This is one of my all-time favorite lipstick colors ever, and probably my favorite lipstick proper formula ever, because it's not completely opaque and the color is everything. So there's Slip on its own. Again, really nice, perfect, but I want to take it up just a notch and I want to make the lips glossy. So I'm going to take Hourglass Trace and it's going to add that caramel color to it. How excited are you? It just finishes the look off with that perfect glassy lip. How perfect is that? It's like, I practiced this lip combo actually. I tried on like a million different lip combos and I was like, it's gotta be like just perfect for this Latte look, and I feel like this is my ideal Latte look lip. I think this turned out so nice. I'm gonna zoom you out just a bit, but you guys, this is literally the epitome of the type of makeup look that I'm obsessed with. I wish that I was going somewhere so I could wear this, but it's perfect. I love this look. I love when there's like a viral makeup look that everybody is doing collectively. And I think that this one is universally flattering because you can change the tones to fit your skin tone, and you can use different shades of brown to basically create the type of latte look that you like. So you don't have to use the exact same shades that I do, but it's really just about using a bunch of like warm chocolatey tones. I feel like this look is cozy but sultry at the same time. It's amazing. I love this look. So I'm going to list and link everything in the description box down below for you. If you have any questions regarding this tutorial, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know if you liked me going more in depth and telling you exactly what brush I'm using throughout the tutorial. I never know if that's helpful or not. For me personally, I don't really care to know what brushes people are using because I'll use whatever I like. But if it's something that's helpful for you, let me know and I'll continue to do that. And if there are any other like viral TikTok makeup looks that you're loving and you want to see me do a tutorial on, leave a suggestion in the comments down below. And I will see you in my next video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'll also have my Instagram and my TikTok in the description. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.